we spent the last
Yeah.
3 episodes, or you guys talked about, the world of Shadows. We talked about coming up with a character design and then we started talking about the stats, and we figured it might be a good idea to just make a character. We're planning on doing a text-based role-playing game soon, and I wanted to create a new character to go along with it. So the concept, yeah, the concept I came up with. So my first thought is with Riv, she has a lot of nuance and uh, there's lots of things going on with her. So I figured I'd want to try doing a straightforward and aggressive character where his whole shtick is he wants to fight and he's gonna do it. uh, yeah, something like that. But so what I wanted is someone who has martial skill, but I also wanted him to be adaptable because I didn't want him just be a sword wielder, just swords. Um, yeah, it's not what I wanted. So I was thinking of a. I'm kind of reading over what I typed because I was just stream of consciousness when I typed it the first time. Um, I was thinking of a battle mage, but instead of a battle mage that's like, oh, I'm going to use flames and lightning and different things in the midst of battle. I wanted to have a very specific focus for him, in that he. Uh-oh, looks like we can't hear D. Thanks to Resix, or
yeah.
Angela for that one.
Yeah, they should be able to hear me now.
I need to unmute you.
Like, it keeps resetting certain settings. Like, it's driving me bonkers, man.
Yeah, there you are. I unmuted right when you went the. Anyway, so my character's focus is that he can mold magic into martial and projectile weapons. So he never has this weapon on his person. Like you never see him carrying the weapon. He just generates them. I did that just for you, Angela.
I love the idea.
So as I thought about it, I realized that this is kind of like Noctis from Final Fantasy 15. He's got these royal arms that he can summon at any time, but the way that in my mind, the way I thought about it was that he would be versed in multiple martial arts, and he'd make his own martial art after that. Because the way it works is kind of like Gun Kata, kind of like long arms, short arms, like all of the different martial arts mixed together. Because in my mind, what I'd like to have happen is like if he's at long range, he could take out a sniper rifle. Like he'll materialize a sniper rifle in magic and shoot a magic bullet at them. Or if he's really close range, he'll take out like a pole arm to start with, and then maybe when he takes a sweep, he'll change it into like a pike and swing in, and then maybe he'll switch it into like an axe and then swing forward kind of thing. You know what I mean? Like basically just a flow of combat that's unique to him and only him because he can generate these weapons at will. Does that make sense?
Yes. You're basically creating a modern version of a summoner.
Sure. I mean, I guess I thought I was being somewhat original, but apparently there's like
there's
15
there's
different.
really not original ideas. Just whatever spin you can put on it. You can say because there's like a bunch of really core archetypal type characters. Period. Whether they be illustrated as classes or straight on archetypes, which are the more broad variant. It's less specific, but either way, there's always going to be some sort of correlation between the idea you have and something that's already in existence. But
Sure.
The cool thing is the fact that you bring something to the table that other people can't. So even if it's the same archetype, it's a different iteration.
I like the idea of like someone's going to attack you and you like put up like a quarterstaff to block, and then it like shifts into 2 daggers and you like stab, and then you like move back and it's a axe, like and it's just changing in your hands.
He's very adaptable.
Very, very cool. Or like the idea of like it's up as a shield and then it like turns into a rifle fire and then like a backup as a shield.
So what I need to figure out to make this work, and then we can start rolling the character, is the mechanic of it. Because obviously I want it to be powerful but limited. Because obviously if I could just turn a gun on, like and shoot bullets at them, I'll just do that all the time. But that expends my magic. What I was thinking, and this is where you can put your spin on it or help me figure it out to make it balanced, is that every time I shoot. So what I was thinking is that every single thing that I create has a certain mass to it, and that I can work within that mass. So I can make whatever I want within that mass. And so, for example, if I make a handgun and I shoot, that the actual bullet that I'm sending out is part of that mass, and so I can only shoot so many times, and actually have to recover that magic back or recover that mass back before I could do something else with it. That's how I'd reload, in a sense. Stuff like that.
Well, we can simplify it from that, because that is awesome in a realistic sense, but it would be very hard to work with mechanically.
Okay.
So we'll
this is why I wanted to talk with you.
Yeah, we'll be able to conjure up what's necessary based on, because like I said, first of all, rate of use is already in place, and I can sit there and go like, okay, if you want it to be limited, there's already SFR. We can use the SFR system to benefit what you need, which means is that you spend a point of SFR to create the weapon, and then you can
What's
spend
SFR
some
stand for?
spiritual force rating.
Spiritual force rating.
Yeah. So you can use SFR to create the weapon. That's 1 point, and then for every round you put into the weapon, you go doot, 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 like that. You can just pump that in there. So we already have a means of watching that. And then if you want to switch the weapon into something else, you have to have at least enough SFR that you can use in a round to do the swap. You can't just go, okay, I've only got a ready use of 5, and I've made the gun with 4 rounds. That's 5 points. I'm going to switch the gun at the end of the round. No, you have to stop right there. You have to wait until your next turn before you can spend it.
Hey, Drew.
But I want to
Sup,
spend
man?
it now. How's it going, man?
Wow. Is that some ice cream I see in your mouth? Excellent.
With my wife made this raspberry blackberry reduction sauce
Nice.
that just makes this money.
So, Ken, do you want something to always exist, or for you, like outside of combat, to be like not have anything?
It's not have anything.
Okay.
My thought, as far as like the backstory of this, is that it's a magic that's kind of sticks to him, almost like a sentient magic. That's why how he's able to control it, because it knows what he wants, and that's what he's trying to do. And that's why I want it to be limited as well, because if I could just create something and then just drop it, like I think you even mentioned, is like, is he gonna have a bunch of swords laying on the ground when he's done? It's like no. Every time he changes the weapon, that is what's changing, instead of
What I meant was like we joked about like Green Lantern, right? Like
yeah.
how the Green Lantern has a conduit through which he channels whatever. So like, would you have a ring, bracelet, handle, whatever that you can becomes a sword, changes shape to an axe, changes to be the stock of a rifle, like
Right.
Question,
be
clarifying.
disarmed,
Clarifying question on this: would this be something that goes part of his gauntlet set? Like, collect them
different
all.
character.
Oh yeah.
Different character.
Somewhat out of the loop. Yeah, we're actually doing we're creating a new character for a text-based game that we're going to be rolling in the next few weeks. And so the character concept is someone who can create weapons at will, or create objects at will. In this case, weapons.
So you want Ivar?
A very specific and focused Ivar, and also he's going to be a martial as opposed to
Oh, nice.
Chaos Wizard.
So the other thing too about this as well, the other limitation that you will have to deal with is that you will have to know what you're doing with those weapons to use them with that penalty. So if you're going to use a long rifle like you had used in your example, you'll have to have the rifle skill at least to some degree that would say, yeah, I can shoot this like a sniper with some relative amount of skill. Otherwise, it's going to be like you could create it, sure.
Yeah. So that was my plan, is that like when I said I was going to be focused, like the backstory of this character is that his mom and dad are both like martial like fanatics, and from the very early age he's been just in all of the different combats or different kinds of martial arts. And so I'm going to put lots of skills into that, and then once he gets old enough that he can start creating these weapons and stuff, and he can do it at a pretty good clip, that he's going to make his own martial art, and I want to create a skill just for that. And that martial art is being able to smoothly switch between melee weapons, But of course, like you just said, I'm going to make sure he has skills in handguns, rifles, all those things. So he's going to be practicing all this stuff. His whole life is devoted to just being a badass. Like, because that's what he wants. He just feels like he wants to be. He watched too many superhero films and too many action films as a kid, with his parents being the way they are, and so that's who he wants to be. He wants to be the frontline like fighter kind of guy.
Well, I have to say, Ken, you're finally growing up, sir. You actually have a character that I've seen in terms of template a lot of places, and now you've come into the zone of this is where most average gamers wind up at some point, either at the start or near towards the middle before they start doing the other shit.
Right.
He didn't make Drizzt or
No.
Batman.
No, not yet.
He didn't make Drizzt or Batman. I mean, congratulations.
Yeah, Drizzt Do'Urden, man. You gotta read, like, man.
A legendary Dungeons and Dragons
R.
character,
Salvatore.
the dark elf who is, from a race of evil elves who's like rebels, goes to the surface world, has 2 swords and a, panther as his companion. Everybody's like, I'm going to make my own unique character. He'll be this pariah who escapes from his oppressive family, and he's got 2 swords, and he hides all the time.
It reminds me of the
right.
the thing that
Or
D
Batman.
was like
Everybody makes Batman.
my village was burned to the ground and I vowed revenge.
Oh,
Like,
God. Yeah, I'm so glad that I don't have to listen to that backstory again. It's happened so much.
My Night City has burned to the ground, and I'm getting revenge. Or Batman. Everybody makes the Batman, right?
Yeah, I want to be really focused with this character.
I love it.
He's all about fighting and stuff. That's his lot in life. His obsession is just to fight, and so he's going to be aggressive. Like everyone, like he's going to be like the who's the guy from in South Park? Who's like, you want to fight about it? Like the Cockney accent.
That's
Can't remember his name right now.
all the time.
Okay, so I'll use SFR to create my weapon. Every round I use it to empower my weapon. And if I want to switch, I have to use SFR to switch it too. Is that what you're saying?
You have a points pool that you're going to get. You'll have a rate of use, so it'll determine the number of points you can spend per round. So that will be your limitation, like I said, and that covers everything. What's weird is that it kind of actually does exactly what you're already talking about. The only additive condition in this whole thing is like, we're going to use my favorite, we're going to use my favorite timeline or my favorite duration, which is per encounter or until concentration ends. Because anytime you summon a weapon, you can hold the weapon in reality for as long as you want, as long as you're focused on doing so. And, when you're trying to put rounds in it, you have to spend the SFR to actually make those rounds. Once they're in place, once they are materialized, unless you dismiss the weapon, etc., they will also remain until your concentration ends, or the encounter ends, whichever one happens first.
So one thing I want to make sure of, because I'm down with this, one thing I want to make sure of as far as the mechanics go is that I can switch weapons whenever I want. So
all you do is just spend the SFR. You just spend the SFR to make the swap. So you do like, okay, let's just say that he was at a higher point, because we're going to say he's going to be somewhat limited. This is going to be a new power. We're starting at basic cyberpunk level here. So he's not going to have a pool higher than 4 to start with. Promise you that. So if he's got if he's gonna have like, so let's say he's like advanced down the road and he really wants to just like push it in. Let's say he's got like a rate of use of 7, so he can push 7 points. What he could eventually do would be conjure up a 9mm pistol with 2 rounds, because that's all he'd need. He'd go blop blop, and then he'd just take that and just turn it into a larger, maybe like a short sword or some other like melee weapon to deal with another person who's gotten in too close, right? And then after that, he would be able to spend the next 3 points that he's got, because that would be, that'd be 4. He'd spend the next 3 points creating a gun and 2 more rounds to take 2 more shots at a separate further target. And that could be like a bow and arrow and do the fucking bam bam, like it could be whatever. Like I said, and so you've switched from gun to blade to bow and arrow in one turn. You would just have to spend the SFR to make these transitions occur.
Okay, and so is there a way that I can, because I would like to have a way to be able to gain some of my SFR back.
You
Not
always
the
have
same
a way.
way.
Yes, you always have a way of getting SFR back, either from draining certain targets, meditation to do something like that. There's a lot of things you can do to regain SFR.
Like, yeah, so as we go through this, I want to try seeing if there's a way I can, in combat, get it back. Because what I'd like to do, as far as what I'm trying to envision here, is a push and pull of, I need to know how much power I can, switch around, but I also want to be able to pull it back strategically and then switch, kind of, you know what I mean, ebb and flow of battle. Because I could go all out for a second, and then if I do something right, I
just
can pull
means
it
that
back.
you have to have a certain mystical ability that allows you to be able to draw off of target.
Okay, I'll put that.
Like I'm thinking the Warlock's Curse mechanic in D&D, where it's like when the target of your curse dies, when a cursed target dies, there's some sort of boon. So
yeah, you could do something like that too.
you could have where you're like hitting them with the bullets, and then like when they die, you get like a SFR leech back, vampiric.
Well,
sort of,
I'd imagine
not
that
like
this
vampire,
character's-
but like
yeah,
I put 3 SFR into killing you, and I get 1 back or something.
sure, yeah.
It could easily
figure
be
it
it could be like a die roll as well. Like there are certain points where rolling dice really does make things fun. As an example, you might be like, okay, you could be like, you could not to completely steal from Magic the Gathering, but you could do something called Mana Sync, where you just be like, okay, I'm gonna like use Mana Sync as a passive ability, kind of like what Scott's talking about, where it could be like you kill your target or you successfully incapacitate them using the weapon you have, right? So if that happens, you just roll like, let's say you had like 2 and like a 2 levels in Mana Sync, you roll 2d6, and that's how much SFR you get back from that particular kill. Like it'd be, which means you get anywhere from 2 to 6.
Cool. Yeah. Well, we'll see how we can roll that in here. Okay. So,
Fire
Drew,
up
do you
that
have any?
character generation?
Yeah, Drew, do you have any thoughts, or do you leave?
I think he's there. He's just on mute. You had to go do
Sorry,
something.
I'm here, guys. I was just talking to the wife real fast. So I was only partially listening. I
You're
agree
good.
with everything you're
Partially
doing.
listening to
Great. Just keep the exactly, and keep it up. I'll be back in a moment.
Yeah, you're good. Okay, so yeah, let's roll. So we said, let me break out my CRB. We said that we're doing street level.
Yeah, it's going to be
So
basic
it
Cyberpunk.
is basic. Basic Cyberpunk. So 9d10.
Plus
And
what?
the exploding, nothing.
9d10
90-10, that's it.
with exploding. Yeah,
That's it.
9d10 e10.
Oh, not too bad. Not too great, but not too bad.
Do we re-roll the ones or no? Stick
No,
with it.
you don't reroll ones, yeah.
Okay.
It's all
I know
just
in the
added
past you've
together,
done
so
that.
you have 37. That's what you get to spend.
Cool.
Woo! So thank God for freebie points. You're going to have to take some disadvantages, I think. He's going to be kind of a fucked up individual.
Sounds about right.
Growth
okay.
opportunity.
Growth up. Oh,
Growth
no.
opportunity.
No.
Oh, God, I hate that phrasing.
I'm turning my camera off for just a second.
He's got to
Finally.
he's like, "Ugh!"
Right? He's like 37. Oh, this character's gonna suck. We should just kill him.
Just die now.
Abort in the first combat.
Yeah. All right.
That's not bad though. I mean, if you look at a 9d10, the max you could get would be without exploding an 81, and the minimum you could get would be 9. So you're
I'm
kind
on the
of
lower
right.
scale. I'm on the lower scale.
But you're kind of right there towards the center.
All right, let me break out my calculator here. All right, I've got 37 points. Let's see. He's not super intelligent.
D, how does SFR get determined?
Well, so for right now, because it's not written into the CRB as yet, what I'm going to end up doing is just kind of applying kind of my usual wing it technology.
Nice.
And just kind of throw it together, because what I'm going to do is I'm going to take... What I need to do is... this is the way that I've always done it whenever I didn't have the exact, like, this is how it's done, because most of the archetypes usually have their SFR already included. We're making kind of a mage, so we're going to have to go off of that archetype, more or less. So we'll use that, but because it's such a specific character, we have to step outside that box.
All right. Let's see.
Poor Reynolds. Good God, poor Reynolds. Ryan Reynolds in that unfortunate situation with that movie.
It's raining here.
Raining?
It's raining. Like I can hear my kids are having a rain dance upstairs on the balcony.
Oh, jeez.
What's going on up there? They're like, it's raining. It's fall. I'm like, it's not
Wait,
fall.
you have real rain?
Real rain.
Oh, see, we're getting ready for a dry thunderstorm here in the Bay Area.
Rain. My goodness.
It's raining.
Well, it was
at
105
Scott's house.
today, so I'll take the actual moisture from the sky.
He's not in the North Bay. He's in.
It's north-ish.
Hey, Scott, are you in the North Bay? Where are you? Like,
I don't live on North Bay.
I am due east of you.
he's due east of us. He's up
I'm near
past Sacramento.
That doesn't
What's
matter.
those freebie points for? Like I can just put them in anything?
Yes, but we're not going to use those right now because
My
we need
wife
to make
says
sure that
Stockton
we.
is due east of us, so you do not know your cardinal directions, my friend.
That's not how I said it.
That's rude and also accurate. So, Ken, I saved my freebies until the end. The question that I had, D, is because skill points are determined based on intelligence and reflex.
Yeah.
So if you put freebies into intelligence and reflex, does that bump you up on the skill points? Like, do you then eke out an extra skill point or something?
So you would technically bump up. Obviously, it would go. So here's the weird thing about that. So it depends on when you spend it. Clearly, if you
Right.
spend on your stats before applying your skills, yeah, it'll have an effect where your overall skill points are upped. But you're going to get a much better outcome if you don't do that and focus putting in freebie points into stats that will give you a balance across multiple skills. Because
Yeah. Like if you put one into, like I'm saying, reflex
Mhm.
is probably the skill that has the most.
Most of the like combat stuff, all combat has reflex as
Yeah.
the baseline, and there's going to be some necessity for that. Reflex is just good in general to have. Same thing with body,
Right.
that's just good in general to have. I think what's funny about the stats is that pretty much you need all of them, which is the part that I really like.
Yeah,
It's-
I couldn't. I couldn't do what I wanted to do. I had to. I'm gonna have to go without luck. I don't have enough skill points to put in anything else.
Well, so if you start with
Build
What is
your
the-
disadvantages. Use your disadvantages to
Yeah.
start building your freebie point pool up, because that's what they're there for. So that's why I say
That
it's
is
going to be.
actually.
Yeah. You're going to
I was
basically
actually-
take some shit on.
Hey Ken, am I curious? Since you're building this right now, is there any way we can see what you're building stat wise?
Sure. I can share my screen.
Let's do it.
So D, I posted the GIF of Green Lantern because that's what Ken and I were talking about with like conjuring a gun.
There you go. You should be seeing my screen one.
Yeah.
Oh,
Got
do we
it.
see
Thank you,
in
sir.
And we can see it in the stream for everybody else too, I think.
Yeah.
Well,
Do
you'd
we-
have to maximize it
If
though.
D
Oh no,
clicks
it's
to
if
watch
you just
it.
look at the way that it looks inside the scene, it looks great.
It looks
Okay.
great in the scene.
All right. So I was
Yeah.
just going to the disadvantages. Here, let me go to
Okay.
view, and then I need the navigation pane. Here we go. Disadvantages.
This is where
I
just
mean-
doing
I mean-
straight 9d10s is like
Ouch.
that's rough. That's
Yeah.
rough because that minimum could be a 9. Right?
Yeah, it could be a 9. Although, because I am the kind of GM, I don't want you to have a character that literally has infant stats across the board. That seems a bit. That seems
No,
a
you
bit
don't want that.
janky.
I've always when I built Ivar and some of the other characters I've been contemplating, I really like the idea of the advantages and disadvantages being part of the backstory. How did they get these disadvantages? Because everybody has, some insecurity or disadvantage in their own life. Where did that come from? And how does that play off your character's ability to interact with others?
Which is incredibly important to have a solid
holy
character
hell
contrast. Character concept. It must
Oh
be in
yeah.
place.
Yeah, I
Ooh,
agree.
do you want to be like a danger magnet or whatever?
Yeah, the
Oh, I will.
easy
Absolutely.
freebies, dude, are Monster Magnet, Danger Magnet, because it just
I'm
means
probably not gonna
I
do-
get to throw all my shit at you and you get to have
I'm
points.
probably not going to do Monster Magnet because he's not meant for that. Oh, hell
He's
yeah,
magical, but he's
Berserker.
not meant for that.
So this guy is a magical guy that can just create weapons. He grew up sort of with a family that instead of giving him toys, they're like, "Here, we're going to teach you how to throw ninja stars because you never know when you need this."
Yeah.
So basically, your dad was Captain Fantastic. I don't know if you've seen that movie with Viggo Mortensen. He
No.
literally takes his kids out into the woods and like, I'm going to make you climb this rock, and when you fall and break your arm, I'm going to tell you to suck it up, you pussy.
I don't think that you had abusive parents.
It wasn't a bit abusive, at least in my case.
No. This guy's not abusive to his kids.
Oh, you
He's
have to
teaching
do
them how
the-
to. It would be what Bill would
thing.
do with his kids if he could get away with it. Is I'm going to teach you how to survive in nature.
Let's see here. Okay,
What
so
about intolerance?
That doesn't make you a bigot.
what am I bigoted
We
about?
talked about it's not lactose intolerance.
Yeah.
You could do like a cyber.
Can I be
allergy or
intolerant of?
something.
No, can I be intolerant of weak people?
Oh my god, you mean become a normal tyrant?
I'm
Wait, you're a
intolerant
bully.
of
You have bad habits.
racist.
You need to be a pyromaniac.
All I
What
can think
about-
about is like freaking like what was it, Ninja Assassin, where the guy's like, weakness begets strength. Like just that's basically the intolerance of weakness.
What if you were colorblind?
Oh, that's good. Let's see here.
Woo!
Lecherous, no. Definitely not shy.
Is that actually is that a disadvantage? Like, do you have like your vision impaired or your hearing impaired?
There is a disadvantage for
Yeah.
deficient senses.
Yes, deficient sense right there.
Hopeless romantic, no. He's not missing a limb. Can be addicted
Oh,
to fighting.
bloodlust. Bloodlust.
Ooh, where's that
Oh,
at?
yeah, that's good.
The sight of blood sends you to a frenzy. Oh, that might be too much. What about? Oh no, impulsive. You already play impulsive.
No, don't.
What about like compulsive behavior, where you're like every
He's straight
day you
up
gotta
gullible.
do your kata or something.
What about notorious?
Yeah, Notorious would definitely work too. given his, like,
He's definitely
crazy
a
abilities.
megalomaniac. He thinks he's hot shit.
Passive.
Mm.
Passive. Oh, you
I don't
should
think
pick
he'd be
coward.
passive.
Could you
Pick
imagine?
coward.
Like, think about this though. Could you imagine
Coward?
being a
passive
passive megalomaniac? Do you think that's even something? Could you imagine that? Like,
Oh yeah, I think you could. You just think that you're hot shit, but also
You
know,
never actually
would
achieve
never
anything.
provoke anybody.
yeah.
Let's see.
I'd
He's
say
not
there's
obese.
a couple of good ones that are worth a few points. Like you could always take enemies. That's always a good one. But
I should have a few enemies. if-
stubborn. Stubborn is a good one. Overconfident is a good one. Those are ones I took for.
I took Ivar
Eric.
has stubborn.
I took overconfident and stubborn because overconfident is like a 2
think
points
so.
or 3 points, and it's like you always you underestimate your enemies.
Yeah,
You
like
know?
Who
I
are,
had
who are my
Ivar
two enemies,
take-
D? I'm gonna have two enemies. Should it be
guy
my
at
parents?
the coffee shop. It's your parents. Now,
Oh,
now you're
God.
making Bill's. That's Bill's childhood. I took stubborn with Ivar, and I've really played it in the sense that he will go down paths that almost like how you play impulsive. When Ivar sticks to a path, like you guys can't get him off that path.
What about
Is how I
Eunuch?
like to play him. That's just
Eunuch.
wrong.
Make him giant.
Yeah, that's got
Age
some.
would be a fun one to play.
Yeah, you'd either be really old or really young.
Ooh,
Like you
Val?
have all your powers and you're like 12.
Yeah, even worse.
Have you? You've seen Monster Girl, right? In Invincible.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Like
That'd be
each time she
interesting.
transforms, she loses
he gets a little younger. Yeah.
time of her life. You could do like Vow or something.
Ooh,
Oh,
law biting.
Mute would be fun. I don't speak at all. I was just like
You just-
like.
Oh, Hawkeye.
What are we gonna call you?
You could do
Silent-
deaf. You could be
Silent
like
Paul.
Hawkeye.
You know what? Illiterate might work.
Um,
All right, wait.
Seems like a lot. How many points are you
unlucky.
spending to get this?
Go
Well,
unlucky.
I'm gaining. Well, I actually right now I don't have any luck. Like I literally
Yeah,
spent
no,
all of my
but-
points.
The opposite of luck is unlucky. You must use 4 points of luck for every reroll.
Sure,
that will
but
make-
you
that
just
makes-
could never
that's-
take luck.
Yeah, I mean that almost kills you. I mean, because
Okay,
we've all had to use
might as
luck
well.
in some degree. D, has
let's
anyone
see.
ever taken unlucky as a disadvantage?
Couple. Yeah.
Have they made it far?
Not really. Those games didn't last as long as I'd hoped either, but
Uh,
the
Oh,
but it's hard.
We have
It's
lightning.
it's without the luck component involved, man, it's fucking hard.
oh
he's
yeah.
he's got a cyber allergy.
Well, that's what I was gonna ask you. Like you could.
Oh,
you could
shit.
Take a vow of no cyber.
Faultlessly honest.
I like that. I'll probably pick that one up too.
So that one's hilarious. I've had a friend who actually tried playing that one. It is difficult as shit, but it's fun as hell, especially for me, because there's no way you can't tell a lie. You're just unable to do so.
Yeah.
So what are you guys doing? Oh, we're trying to rob Arasaka, and that's what we're
Well,
doing
and I
right
think-
now.
I
And
think that
we have
this
plans
actually,
to blow the street up.
Yeah.
This actually works out really well with my bully and bad habits and megalomaniac. Is like, yeah, we're gonna do this. Like,
Oh, right.
So
I think
to
I think you should take an overconfident.
so
Yeah,
to
I
be
will.
perfectly clear,
Oh, that has to.
if you take overconfident, you'll probably be less on the scope. So faultlessly honest does not compel you to give an answer. You just can't tell a lie. So in other words, if somebody goes like, "What are you doing here?" and you have to be like, "Well, actually, I really don't want to answer that." It's not that you can't; it's that you won't. You know, that's the truth. It's like I'm not going to tell you. That's the truth. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? They have to
Yeah, yeah.
trap you within a series of questions before you'd be compelled, and even then, you could still say, "I don't want to answer." But being overconfident means overconfident means that you'd be like, well, you'll probably say it because you're pretty sure that them knowing is not going to fucking phase you or anything you're doing.
I like it. This is making it.
Can
so
you
that
be
I'm
gullible,
putting myself in a
too?
box. No, I'm not gonna do that.
Can you be a passive gullible megalomaniac?
Yes, he probably could. This is we're making a basket case is what we're making. Good shit and Christ.
I know. Ooh, you should have missing a limb.
No,
You should have
no,
all
he's
of
a
these
martial
things.
artist.
But be
Oh.
mute. And then just you have to project it through body language.
Oh my
Do you-
god.
do you have
I'd to
temper?
still-
One sec.
Do I have
You
temper?
just
No.
like glare at people all
You-
the time.
Hey, Ken,
heard-
take a look at temper.
I saw it. Yeah.
I think you're good on this. You've picked up
Dear
like
God, like
45 points.
you. So, what is your goal for taking this many disadvantages? By the way,
Fun of it. No, part of it is because I rolled really low. I only had 37 skill points to work with. And
Your
this is
37
this is my
stats, yeah.
stats to work with.
Let's see here.
And this was
oh, you're
bad.
a dumbass. God,
wanted
you're
to-
like Ivar of walking. Like,
I really wanted to get at least things to 5s, so I'm glad we did this exercise.
Well,
Yeah.
5 is, we'll say, like the average human is in that
Yeah.
4 or 5 range.
Yeah, that's what I wanted. I wanted
So
I
you
wanted
can
him to be
have,
average
like-
and everything else.
I'd say I got very lucky with my point roll. I think I got like 65 or something.
Let's see.
You're a dumbass.
And I think with my 65 or whatever I got, I was able to leave mobility and body at 5, and everything else I was able to bump up.
All right, so I just used 3.
So how many points did we push through with that many disadvantages?
46.
That was a show. Oh,
Holy
God.
shit.
Let's see here. He's not super
You could
empathetic.
be like socially crippled, but Quicksilver.
Nice reflex at this stage now, though.
Well, he's been working at this his whole life. That's just what I wanted. His body and his
No, you're
reflex to be
good.
really
You're
high.
good. There's stuff there. Like, I don't see any problem with this at all.
I'll make that go up a little more.
Oh my god.
But you are
Body should
so untech savvy.
Yeah, like the negative
Actually,
2
I had
synergy
that-
bonus.
I had it at 0 at first, but then let's see. I'll put 6 in the.
You
book.
have like an active EMP field around
God,
you.
I love your
You're so-
reflexes in your body. You are one fast mover.
Yeah, what's
Actually,
your?
Like
that one's
I
better.
see the
I
Matrix.
was gonna say your
kind of
mobility
thing.
could probably use a little uptick, but there you go.
I'll do 2 actually. 7 minus 2. Here we go.
I'm trying to
I have
see,
33
so-
points left.
Holy shit. Okay, yeah. As far as like your character overall right now, I mean, you're at the high class basic standard right now. This is pretty good, especially considering that you go all the way up to -6 just for your health levels alone.
Go up to the advantages. I'm wondering here, would it make sense that somebody who's this physically fit would have some advantages of health or anything?
Well,
that
that's
would
what I'm going to
come,
be picking up. Yeah. Let's see here.
Ooh. Could you have fame?
Common sense?
Like, would you be like a I don't
Prodigy?
know, like a known like pit fighter type?
Let's see.
he
Like,
could.
would you be an
Definitely gonna have-
could you be like an MMA fighter?
He's definitely going to have concentration.
Yeah, that's a good one.
He needs
Oh, you
it.
would have to have that.
Yeah.
If you could be like an MMA sort of dude, you could have the bully cockiness,
Double
you
jointed.
know, underestimate.
So current points I can use is 33.
So this is
Scott,
where
What do
I
you think of
landed
the idea
for
of
my
a
character.
Scott? What do you think of natural leader?
Huh? Yeah. Sure. Be right back. You guys discuss.
We don't really use social skills like persuasion and stuff very much, so it's hard for me to
It depends on the campaign you're in.
say. Yeah, like
Yeah,
in,
I mean,
in our game, we
we
don't
don't-
haven't really used disguise, deception,
No, we use
persuasion,
blunt force.
or we
or
do,
deception.
or we investigate. Right? We do our occult checks and like all that stuff to learn information, and then we just like take that information and make our decisions. We're not like these are not the droids you're looking for sort of situation.
No,
Yeah.
that's true.
We've not done really any stealth.
It would just
I'm like
crack
I'm
me up.
typing in all these stats, right, or all these skills because I'm typing up the CRB, and I'm like, man, disguise and deception. Barrick's in a little bit of investigation, but we
No,
have
I mean, you're right. I
a
mean,
lot of
we've-
untouched.
The few times we've tried stealth, it's more like, the hell with this, and then we just start blasting
Yeah.
stuff. Or
Yeah,
like,
I've tried to flex authority a couple of times, but I can't because John, when he's or Colt, when depending on what mode he's in, his authority is like a plus 38 or whatever. So it's not.
yeah, but when you've done your authority, it plays really well in the storyline.
Yeah.
Well, yeah.
It's so funny. I'm looking at this going like, it's a good thing you didn't pick age and go somewhere else and be like, okay, sexual endowments. So that's like, you're walking around, it's just like this tween. It's like, what's
A
going
tween
on with
twink.
this kid? It's like, why has he always got a gun in the front of his pants?
What about danger sense? I found that has been a wonderful advantage.
Danger sense
Ivar.
is awesome. It is expensive at this level.
I love that you're doing the same thing that I did, Ken.
Oh, it makes
Use the-
sense.
Base on the side of the Excel to make little formulas to total it up.
That is the beauty of Excel.
So I love the idea of you having an advantage related to being known. Like, because I could see your character, you're muted. I could see your character like walking into a restaurant and being like, "Where's my table?" Like I'm,
I guess I could do that.
it's just 1 point, but
No, it's good.
it's social lubrication.
Lex
Okay.
Luthor
Or
walks into the
connections,
room
like
and
either
everyone
way,
knows.
fame or connections, right?
Yeah. Let's see.
I see
Night vision.
connections as well as if you've been around circuit and stuff, you would know people. You would know the best trainers in town. You would know who has the best
Concentration.
dojos and who to mess with and who not to mess with.
I like
Oh.
the acute senses.
Yeah,
And
acute senses.
ambidextrous. He's
Mhm.
going to be ambidextrous.
We've not done anything with offhand penalties, I don't think.
Because we've been always fighting like in our element, basically.
Yeah.
Well, and Barrick either shoots right-handed or
Well, that's
with a
because most
two-handed.
people don't have to use their offhand. They go with what they use primarily. You know what I mean? But the offhand penalty does exist.
But nobody really uses like melee weapons, right? As like a two-handed sort of dual wield situation.
Yeah, there's no dual wielders yet that I've seen.
Let's see. I'm going to give him a cat-light balance because he has to do lots of acrobatics.
Always good for that master parkour, man.
We're into 3 still. Okay. Immunity, intuition.
You wanna go upstairs?
Hard to kill.
Oh, I'm thinking sinless, but no.
No,
Thick skull. He's an idiot. He seems kind of like a
that's
dunce.
about head damage.
Yeah, but I mean, like, it's an automatic crit if you get hit in the head. So,
Can I use the double C's for thick?
I don't care, do it.
No, I'm not doing that.
Oh, why not, man? You're like,
Juicy. That's how it works. In fact, it's not a hard skull. It's like.
No, you need to get hard to kill and bump that thing.
I think a hard to kill or pain tolerance would be good if you're.
Yeah, hard to kill and pain tolerance are some of the best advantages in here.
Yeah.
Like, they're the unsung heroes of being able to do what Daredevil does. Like, oh, that would be fucking fun as shit. Making a Marvel character just for the shit, like shits and giggles, like going through all their powers and stuff and building them.
So I told you this is like, I've made literally 1,000 characters. I have played 7, right? But I have made. I've like gone through. Okay, if we were gonna do Wolverine, he would need blah 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 blah. If we were gonna do Jean Grey, blah 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 blah. We're gonna do
Melee
Daredevil.
Master.
I got that one.
Melee Master, Range
I would-
Master.
I would love to get Range Master, but I don't have enough points anymore. Let's see
Oh,
here.
how much do you have left? 5.
I have 5 points left. It goes
Rapid
fast.
Healing.
No, I was thinking pain tolerance.
Oh,
I was trying to find it.
How? Okay, so what is going to be the mechanism that you switch? Is it a will check, like the way that Colt does, where he like switches personalities by doing a will check?
I think it's just.
Or is it just
I'm
gonna
using
be
my
spend
power,
the SFR?
Yeah, so in this case, he's not describing because he doesn't have any arcane skill. What he's doing is he's basically using it like a mutant power. He's using magic.
Oh, okay.
So he'll just be like pop, 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 pop. He won't know how he's doing it, and because it's so focused, because it is so entirely focused on just generating weapons, he doesn't need to be like, I need to think really hard about this. Like it's not.
It's just... And actually, D, I went into it, and if you look at the thread for Felrix, I went in at the top. Like he has a range of weapons he's practiced with.
Right.
Like when he's in close range, he has some tonfas. When he's at medium range, he has a quarterstaff.
Right, you're just going down the spectrum of melee and hand-to-hand weapons, and then guns, right?
Melee non-lethal and melee lethal, because those are 2 different things.
There's not a lot of non-lethal. There's not a lot of non-lethal. I mean, those tonfas, man, can fuck your life up. Yeah, Drew, what's up?
But
D, you made a statement that made me actually think here. Somebody who trains as an elite athlete, and I've seen this in track and field, they can do really complex things. And the thing I'm thinking of right now is the hurdles.
Mm-hmm.
They almost do it without thinking. It's just boom, boom. Like it's a natural reflex that the average person couldn't do, but that comes from just years of training. I could see, Ken, your character. You've just done this so much over the years. It's almost like when Barrick uses his gun kata. It's just like I'm not even trying, and I'm going to hit you. I'm not even going to try.
Well, I can't do anything in the 6 anymore. That's an 8-pointer.
Then dump fame or something. I don't know, but quick draw.
I only have 5 points. I need 3 more.
Well, that's why he's saying dump fame or something like that. Like
if you dump fame, you'll have 6.
Yeah, they was just
So
trying.
I need 2 more after that.
Yeah, if you wanted to go that way. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's just a cool, like, if it would enable you to do a free switch.
Like summoning. Yeah.
Go pick up
or-
a few more disadvantages.
Let's throw a few more in there.
Or just the idea of maybe quick draw enables you to summon your first weapon without spending SFR or something like that.
I like what I got. I can go for that later. I can pick it up later if my
Yeah.
character lives.
It'll cost you 40 points later.
Yeah. Let's see here. Where was the pain tolerance? Oh, there it is. It's a 4-point advantage.
Yeah, I was gonna say
I
it
think
should
I'll
be
do
right
that
around there.
too.
That's a good one to have.
Especially at this level, because your pain will fuck your life up pretty hard.
There we go.
And you know, getting hit for 10 drops you into second or third bucket. What did I take? I took concentration, lucky, machine dough, connections, and time sense.
There we go. I got connections. So I got 1 connection.
There you go. Yeah. Well, you're gonna he's gonna be your agent who gets you in all these goddamn like bare knuckle blocking fights or whatever.
Yeah. Well, it's not bare knuckle for me.
All right, hey, I'm going to point out I've been playing Cyberpunk
yeah.
2077, and you start racking up connections really fast, and all they do is get you into shit.
Well, Drew, I will say you're the only person I know who actually has the blank guy. Like, oh, I got a car guy. Oh, you need to go to a concert? I got a concert guy. Oh, you need to get into this golf course? Oh, I got a golf guy. Like, you're the only person I know in real life who has connections.
Who has guys?
Mm-hmm.
Come on, everybody's got to have guys.
Yeah, here we go.
Like,
All right.
I got a phone full of guys.
So
What do you need?
How many skill points am I getting?
Thank
Where
you.
is it?
Int
Gonna be
plus
under the power level.
reflex plus 50.
Gotta check the power level because it should have something.
Oh
there,
my god, I
believe.
haven't been on this in a while.
I have 5
Yeah.
points. A free, which I haven't used yet.
Yeah, it's gonna be
Um,
like if it doesn't have it listed else, it is going to
it's
be the
int
reflex
plus
and
reflex
intelligence plus
plus
50.
Okay.
I didn't know if
Wait.
power level had any kind of modifier, but yeah.
Oh, no, it just on the freebie and on the max rank you can have when you're training a skill or power.
Yeah, the
Mhm.
max rank right now is 5. Yeah.
Yeah.
So your int plus reflex is 13. So you get 63 skill points.
See,
That's a hefty amount.
Well, it
Yeah.
sounds like it, but it goes
Even if you
fast.
just drop one into archery, one into fencing, one into handgun, one into melee, one into rifle, like just to get the synergy bonus by being
Mhm.
trained,
Yeah. Well, he's definitely
That-
going to.
that can make a good difference.
He's not going to fuck with beam weapons. So.
the
let's see.
Iron
I
Man
think
repulsor
I
blast.
really think that should be your motto. He's not going to
Not
fuck
gonna
with me in
fuck
weapons.
Yeah, even if you just put ones in those, you get a hefty bonus right off of.
There we go. So. Equals. Of.
Let's watch. Look at this. Come to Twitch to watch hot spreadsheet
Excel action.
action.
Hey
I'm gonna
man, I
spread
just
those
love seeing my
sheets.
formulas at work. You know what I mean?
Do you need a sum? Do you need a subtotal?
Yeah.
What about
not
a
right
count
now.
if? Let's look at it.
No, I don't want to count it if I. No.
Concatenate. Let's throw this shit together.
I don't need to concatenate anything.
We'll throw a VLOOKUP. Just populate stuff. Oh, you're gonna go dangerous? HLOOKUP? Nobody uses the HLOOKUP.
Man,
That's
God
just
Almighty!
dangerous.
I think our nerd is showing really hard right now.
Meanwhile, Re6 is like,
Yeah, it seems like our audience isn't too dead.
Number 2.
oh, we got lightning, Drew. So
Let's see.
Now we just need the thunder.
Thunder. Let's see here. Tactics. He'd be good at tactics.
Always good to get a GM hint.
Were you hinting?
That's what tactics is.
Oh,
yeah.
Roll well enough, the GM can give you a hint and be like, well,
Dodge.
you might be doing a little bit there.
Points into dodge.
We have rocked that a
Force dodge.
lot.
oh yeah.
Dodge is supposed to be in combat, but it's in general for now.
It's the few things out there that basically goes like, hey, it's a collaborative experience, not the GM trying to
Mhm.
screw you over.
Intimidation.
I don't think he needs to intimidate.
Don't
Like he
want
wouldn't
none,
use that skill.
won't
He's just
be
gonna.
none.
God,
He-
a bully that
he
couldn't
might-
intimidate would be hilarious.
I guess I'll put one in there.
I was
No,
just gonna
no
say the same
seduction.
thing.
Intimidation based on cool
It's-
or
Yeah.
This is an old version of this because
Uh.
D put in the in parentheses all of these. I must
Oh,
have an old
yeah.
version. Where's
Yeah.
the latest version, D?
oh no, why are you using an old one? I can just look on my own. Intimidation
I have,
is
like-
cool and magnetism.
That makes sense. Let's see. First aid, he'd want to know about that.
Oh, and you gotta pick your martial arts. And then you
Well,
gotta go and make
yeah.
your character's profile picture in Hero Forge.
Oh, you don't
This
even
is
have the
That's
martial. Yeah.
part.
The other thing about this skill sheet is that it's missing the martial arts section in the same skills tab.
Okay, can you give me the blank? I can refill this really quickly. Can you give me a blank, like the most up to date sheet? Apparently, I have an old one.
Janky sheet.
In the shadows, I had character sheet 2.0 version 01, but that's all I have. See. So I need you to give me the good stuff, D.
That's coming right up.
The good stuff, D. Come on, the good stuff. Hook 'em up.
So in this episode of Fiction Factory, we are doing a live character build.
There we go.
How do I
This
build
one-
my character?
This one definitely doesn't lend itself well to audio. it's a very visual medium right here.
Well,
Ken is mulling over the different skills. He's placed 1 point in archery, 5 points in combat sense, 1 point in fencing, 1 point in handgun. We can just do this all day. 1 point in heavy, 5 points in martial arts.
all right, let's drop this sucker.
Did you see what I dropped into the world building? The sample page to
Yeah,
show you the
That
skills.
looks amazing.
Yes, and I am effing thrilled. It's amazing looking.
Because I have no job, I've got nothing better to do.
D will suck all that up
Yeah,
like a Hoover vacuum.
dude, I this is so beautiful, man.
Oh, is the Twitch frozen? Or is my Twitch frozen?
Okay, I love that you
no,
have the
it's
page
moving.
number on her ass.
That's where you're gonna look, man.
Yeah, but then I didn't realize that she's pointing her gun right at me. So that is a just nice take right there.
All right. Well, we're gonna do some copying action really fast here.
I thought that was just a cool way to then have a table that just has all the skills in alpha order.
Yeah.
Because right now we don't have any restriction to you have to take 5 general skills, 3 combat skills. Like we don't have anything like that. So I figure can have the descriptions of the skills in a page like this, and then have just a table that has them all alpha
Yeah.
that shows the primary, the secondary, and the type of skill.
Oh, this is different. Okay, I gotta see.
Yeah,
Okay.
it was.
Now we're on to hot copying action.
Yeah, this is pretty.
Did you
hot.
copy the first aid? Or are you typing? Oh, good man, you're typing it.
Well, no, I'm copying the stuff over though. The ranks. There. Feels just fine.
There you go.
Cool. So yeah,
Okay,
you have
so-
the martial arts thing at the top.
Yeah, so D, what I wanted was that he had been practicing his martial arts so much that he had his own martial art. So
Mhm.
can you help me come up with a cool name for it?
Felrix Keto. And
Well,
Some-
so keeping in mind that it encapsulates weapon fighting, gun fighting, and hand-to-hand fighting, like all of those things all
Okay.
at once.
I'm firing up the martial arts name generator. Ooh, okay, these are all over the place. Let's have a poll in our Twitch stream.
All one person watching. Oh, those are just someone threw up consonants.
So, you're going to be using something that would be, that's because of the modern day, you're going to be using some form of Krav Maga. and it would be combined with street fighting, which would be combined with probably some elements of Kung Fu. Actually, let's go into it. I mean,
This
if you
one
really...
is Logwarmi, Barmano, Brisi Vamea, Bekur, Ampuan, Cockney,
Bar fighting.
Sheetsas,
Cheat
Bok
sauce.
Chu, Kya Intu.
Filipino
Crackle.
Calais.
Let's see here. Equals. Let's see.
There is Gun Fu, but that is a John Woo specialty. Like literally, it has its own Wikipedia page. Gun Fu.
So I would say that Krav Maga, Kung Fu, street
Krav
fighting.
Maga is pretty badass.
Yeah, that would be necessary. Let's say it's gonna have a base in karate, and we'll give Krav Maga like those two kind of
Muay
merged
Thai.
together. So we'll say it's gonna be a Japanese name base.
All right.
Samurai Lovin'.
Arnis, or also known as Kali or Eskrima, the martial arts of Philippines,
Yep.
emphasize the use of weapon-based fighting: sticks, knives, bladed weapons, improvised weapons. Bojutsu, using a bow.
Let's see. Let's
Uh,
see this.
Gatka, the name of the Indian martial art with a style of stick fighting.
Huh.
Gongsul, Korean art based on archery. Gyomsul, which is a Korean art based on the sword.
Well, we could also call it Katachi no Naimichi, which is Way of the Formless.
Yeah.
That works. That works.
Jeet
Spell that for
Kune
me.
Do.
I got one better.
What is
for
your
you.
fighting style? Formless. What? Formless. Which is quite ironic for a guy that develops his own form of weapons.
There we go. Oh, why did... Okay, the attack bonus is 14 apparently. Oh, that's
Yeah.
because it came from martial arts. I thought I had to put something in there.
Yeah, no, I've got that blocked off.
I guess
because-
I'll have to type in my
Yeah,
own
you have to type in
maneuvers
the
and stuff.
description and stuff like that because it'll have its own maneuvers, etc. So you just be like, use it this, does that, do a flippy flip. Like you basically write that shit in there.
Works.
I wonder if I can
Okay, I've
shorten.
got
Let me shorten this up.
Metsudo.
I've got 13 skill points left. Let's see here.
Sistema.
Since he's faultlessly honest, I don't think I need to work on deception at all.
That would actually be funny.
Try to deceive, but you can't. That'd just be wasted skill. Let's see here.
That would be like twisting, I did not call her.
Oh,
and you're
be like
wait,
a fae.
what?
Yeah.
Yeah.
What was that movie where the guy lived in a world where no one could lie except himself?
The Invention of Lying. That movie is sad. That movie is so sad.
Is it? I've never seen it.
It is.
It's a comedy with Ricky Gervais.
Yeah, you think that, but then they take a sharp left turn in the middle of the movie, and you're just like, oh, this is the saddest thing I've seen all year.
Well, now I
Oh.
have to see it. A world where
It's-
lying doesn't exist, failing scriptwriter suddenly develops the ability to bend the truth. Spinning tall tales to get out of trouble and into girls' pants.
It is mostly comedy, but there's a point in the movie where they use that line to it's sad. Okay, so no robotics.
Does he
no
request the highest of fives all the time?
medtech.
I would
no.
say this guy would have some streetwise.
So I
Like
think
guys that know martial
Yeah.
arts, there's a street wisdom in like.
Yeah, I'd agree with that.
so.
I remember-
Streetwise is knowing like how to get access to like black market and stuff.
Yeah, but at the same time, it's Death Wish. I'm walking down the streets in the ghetto, and I'm not afraid to eat my ice cream.
Oh, he needs awareness.
Right. So street deal would be negotiating with criminal underground. Streetwise is where to find black market goods, find safe houses, bolt holes, things like that.
and talk to people.
Yeah,
Persuasion, 1. Investigation, no. Human perception, that's important because you gotta know what people are trying to think to fuck them up. Tutor, no. Tracking, no. Survival, no. Stealth.
I have
no.
a character. We need to develop a character sheet for Paul Kersey. We need our Death Wish character.
You know what? Let's just do this and this. Boom. I use my points. Like I said, D, he is a versed in many skills, many combat skills.
Looks
Yeah.
like Barrack. Beam weapons. Nope. 11111. 22222. 33333.
God, that'd be a crazy thing if we all developed multiple characters and played them all at once.
Oh, that's
yeah.
what build does already.
You just developed like 26 characters all at once.
I'm better at you than everything else that you do. I just switch hats to do it.
Cool.
I
Okay,
love it.
so I got my skills
So
in.
what do you have your 5s in? Combat sense, martial arts, melee. That's fantastic.
Yeah, I figure that using that's when he's going to be trained most in, right?
Right.
He has
And
trained
that's a
in.
pretty well-rounded.
Yeah.
Melee has a lot of application,
Mhm.
because it
And
also
I'm
applies
planning
to
on using.
throne.
Mhm.
So melee also applies to throne, right? So that's
Mhm.
good.
Yeah. And I put one in archery because he practiced it a little bit, but mostly he practiced in, rifles at medium to long range, SMGs to low range, handguns or hand cannons, and then sword fighting.
What's cool about archery is that could also apply to like a crossbow, right? So depending on what your character was doing, if they wanted like a silent takedown, they could conjure a crossbow. Boom,
You know something? If your character was like, I mean, it is New York. I mean, if your character had a background that was like semi-Jewish, you could also do something along these lines.
Jiu-jitsu. I like it.
No,
Uh,
the Hebrew hammer.
the Hebrew hammer, yeah.
Well, that dude's
Alright,
pulling
so-
that freaking stance off, though. You have to admit.
Hava Nagila, right?
Oh, let's see. Last things I need to fill in here is 0. My other. What's other
Other?
for my combat?
That's
What was this?
going to be the same thing as your. It's usually like claws, teeth, anything that's like feral
Okay.
stuff you don't have. Or if
I
you had
don't.
like wolvers, you would put that in there.
Let's see. Felrix has been alive for. Let's see. Someone who has been alive long enough to learn all this stuff, but not wizened enough. So let's say.
You a
25.
boring age, 27.
Yeah, 27. I put 25, so there you go.
27.
22. I know it all. I have my degree.
What's
I know
the
how this
build?
works. I'm going to get my job. I'm going to make 6 figures right out of college. That's how this
Build.
works.
So let me see. Build. Oh, I put height and weight. In that,
is that-
so like my character
Yeah.
is like 5'9", 140. Like,
Oh, is that what I'm doing? Okay.
Yeah.
Let's do
I mean,
6
you could
then.
put like rotund or lithe or whatever.
Let's, maybe I should
Jacked.
go jacked. Let's see.
Swole.
Eyes will be gold. Skin
Oh,
will be
shit.
tan. Type?
So
You're playing a human, right? But a human mage. This is basically if you could sum your character concept up in like 2 to 3 words.
Let's say
Like human mage or
yeah, like battle mage or
Yeah.
like how you were saying. What's the title
What?
of your? I mean, what did you write in the Discord?
martial mage.
Martial mage. There you go.
Yeah.
Hi, my name is Felrix. Martial mage.
you're
Hair.
freaking 6 foot,
But-
weigh nothing.
Bald.
It's got to be bald. You got to be bald.
Yeah, I was thinking bald. That's the
Bald
first thing
with-
that came to head.
Bald with cool tattoos.
He's a giant Vin Diesel.
Hey, Vin Diesel's awesome.
Yeah.
There's
Eyes are cold. I like
Okay.
it.
If I'm hard to kill, shouldn't this be 5?
Yes, you just have to change it to 5.
just manually click it.
And my max SFR you said would be 4, right?
Well, we have to decide what that is. We haven't come around to it yet.
Okay.
Your
so
max
let's do my-
your max rate of use would be 4 at the most.
Got it. Got it.
But we're gonna,
Okay,
like I said, we'll
so-
decide what your actual SFR is going to be based on the rest of it. Because
Oh,
we have to look at the
I
mage
guess I need to
archetype.
put 0 here.
A few years ago, I stayed at Universal Studios, and there's a wax Vin Diesel
Mhm.
in the lobby there, and 7 or 8 times I came off the elevator and got like startled because it was Vin Diesel standing there 10 feet away staring at the elevator. And
Awesome.
I am a huge Pitch Black fan, and every time I was like, oh no, it's not Riddick. Very excited. My daughter's like, what's wrong with you? Who is that guy?
What's my skin?
Did he ever finish the trilogy?
No.
What's your body?
So
My
that's
body is-
your
7.
So we have to go
so
back
it's
to the
got your
CRB.
BTM. Your BTM's already calculated in.
Yeah. So your BTM is your skin.
Oh, okay, so it's 1 always.
You don't have no. You don't have to type it. It's already in.
You know, hey,
It's
this
already in
guy
there.
doesn't need armor.
Why isn't
He
it here,
walks
then?
around with a loincloth.
Because you might have upgrades.
I see.
Yeah. So like Barrack has skin upgrades.
Okay, got it. All right, so magic.
Look at this page.
The tab I have never clicked.
Yeah, I've never clicked on.
Except
Oh
by
my God.
accident when I was trying to click to cybernetics.
This is where I keep Ivar's list of spells and descriptions of like his levels.
Actually,
And
I
then
made my own tab.
Yeah, no,
Yeah.
I use that, and then every time I come up with some new cockamamie idea that actually worked, I write it down along with the target.
You make up your spells. I love it.
Yeah, I'm just making up as they come along. Like in his book of spells is I can summon the
The
Hounds of
Shit
Hell, and I think he brought
Napalm
forth.
diarrhea.
He summoned Michael's sword one time, and I actually was thinking how funny that would be, like to have the Archangel Michael show up again, and here's Ivar pulling his sword out, and have Michael like, how did you get that?
Well, it's just a copy.
I when we were first
That would
talking
break
with
Ivar's heart, by the way, if he found out it was a copy.
Ken's character concept here for Felrix, I was like, are you creating, like, are you drawing in energy to create it, or are you pulling it from some armory
Hammer
that
space.
you have from Hammer Space? Is there, this like small 8x8 room with a weapons rack that are just like they're just like disappearing as you check in and check it out.
Oh, you know what? I forgot to use my last 5 freebie points.
Yeah, freebie points.
I have 5 more skill points or stat points, right? That's
Yeah,
why I can use the
you
you
5.
have
into
you have
reflex.
5 more anywhere points. Like,
Ooh, excellent.
I say put him in reflex.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So let's get him 10.
oh,
So that's 2. Then
Why do
3.
you ooh with a 10? What's
because
the thought?
reflex 10
Or-
is like, it's hard to achieve. So 10 is human maximum. So he's got a cyber allergy, and which means he doesn't have any cybernetics at all. His body would reject
he's
them
just been
automatically.
training.
Yeah, he's just been
Training.
training. So having a 10 reflex, we're talking like this boy eats his Wheaties every day.
I'd say yeah, bumps him.
So
into
this is Bruce Wayne at his height.
Right.
If you go look at your skills, and you see, so cool
Dude.
is used for handgun, right?
Yeah.
And archery, but body is used for the others.
Holy
think
shit!
this is good.
Martial arts and
cool
melee.
for rifle also.
Yeah, dude, and he's a basic character, basic street level character. And he's got a 17 martial arts, which is like, Jeet Kune Do, Bruce Lee, like actually effective in the street, scary shit. Like
Yeah.
that's
Why do I see that he starts out as a bouncer in a nightclub in Night City, and one night he's bouncing people and it goes south.
Roadhouse.
Roadhouse.
Yeah, exactly.
Roadhouse.
Exactly.
Alright,
my
let's
God.
figure out.
Someone?
Let's figure out my magic though.
so.
Okay.
We need to go to the mage archetype because we've built him up exactly what we need to do, which is he's all human right now. Then we have to add in the power aspect. So roll the thing down to the mage archetype in the CRB.
You could put another point in lucky if you need to.
Yeah. Let's see here. I need to get the navigation pane. Magic disciplines.
It's going to be under the archetypes.
Okay.
Mystic. Yep.
Should I have used skill points for this? Did I just screw up something? Okay, good. I'm out of skill points now.
You're basically, yeah, you don't use anything else. Okay, so you technically are going to be rolling on.
Oh, hey, look! I already automatically got the monster magnet and cyber elegy and danger magnet.
Yeah, those
the
are.
only one we didn't do is educated.
Yeah, but we're doing a very specific one because we're not using a complete archetype. What you're using is sort of you're using a partial archetype here. The only thing we're really pulling is your Arcana, and that's it. Like the rest of this stuff, this will be kind of like Monster Magnet is kind of hidden in the background, like it's a latent disadvantage because using magic under any circumstances, especially vulgar magic, which means anything that can't be explained as to how did he do that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, luckily enough, with you summoning guns and shit like that, anybody's going to be like, wow, he's really good at sleight of hand. Like,
yeah, I'll just pull it out of my jacket. It's like,
yeah, just like that. Like, where are you fucking keeping that shit? You know what I mean?
You know what it seems to me?
Perhaps you should have taken deceptions. You could sleight of hand and like pull a lightsaber out of your nose.
Yeah, really.
It seems to me that this character has trained his body to such degrees, much like how Scott's character has discovered that there is more beyond the physical. His character has discovered the height of human physicality, but then has taken a glimpse into what is even beyond that.
Well, that's what his magic is. Like that's why he has his own martial art, because he learned at a young age that he could just generate things at will, and of course because of his because of his influences with his parents and movies and stuff, instead of generating mundane things like an eraser when he needs to erase something in school, he would pull out a gun or pull out a sword or katanas or whatever was cool at the time.
He wouldn't have lasted in school very long if he was doing that.
Well, no, he would pull it out in school. Like, I'm talking like out of school. But anyway, so Arcane level 1, it looks like Arete is 3. Max Arete is 5. Is that SFR?
No, Arete is the number of dice you would roll, which again, this is where we're going to be we're basically doing a very partial. We're taking the mage archetype and turning it into a super mutant power, basically. So what we're going to do is I'm going to tell you this. If you roll me a D3, because we're gonna let the dice decide and see just.
Does that exist?
Yeah.
What's a D3 look like?
It's usually a 6-sided die with 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3 on it.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Wait till you see what a D2 is.
Well, that one
It's a coin.
Yeah.
Wow.
The nice part about digital is you could roll a D57 and it would work.
What about a D19? Give me a D19, baby.
That needs to be D19 needs to be an advantage. That's like once per round.
I could also
once per game. You can roll a D19.
I almost want to make that code name this whole project. It's like this is D19.
Yeah.
Okay, so
I'm sure that has to do with some douchebag fraternity or something though. Just because that's how life is.
So what we're gonna do is we're gonna say that you have a mana pool right now. So we're gonna say you have an Arete 3, like an Arcane 3, which means that I'm going to give you, 3. You're gonna have a 3 rate of use. Okay, so what you're gonna do is your Arcane level is gonna be 3, Arete 3. That's fine. Your maximum SFR is gonna be 75. Okay. You don't have any foci or anything like that. So what this is going to wind up being is that if we were to break down what your power is, you're going to have a 3 correspondence. And these are fixed, by the way.
Imagine matter is going to be one of them.
Yes, it is. And as a matter of fact, that's going to be a 4 in matter.
Until we overhaul the magic system.
Yeah, until it's no longer reliant on what we are using now. And it's also going to have a 2 in forces. There we go. And that is the composition that is necessary to formulate those like weapons as you need it. Now, the reason why I say this is fixed is because you're technically considered a hedge mage. Your skill doesn't really advance from this point forward. Like those won't level up over time because they're so hyper focused on this one thing. You could eventually awaken and become a mystic full blown and then start adding to this, but that's a different story.
2 weapons at once.
He can technically do 2, like, size or throwing knives.
Yeah.
So speaking of which, under my weapons, my attacks, this is where we could probably not do this evening, but I could this is where I put in my tonfas and
yes, that's where you put in your
things.
like your tonfas, your staves, your guns, your everything. Yeah.
Okay, that's cool. And then I could, for the rate of fire, I could put in the cost. Here's how much SFR would take to use it, right?
Well, that's usually how much you use to spend on it, but in special or in where it says enhancements or any of the other areas that are slightly larger, you can just the cost is going to be the same. 1 to create, and then however many rounds, that's how many you have, or how many of the object you create also costs a point. It's all a 1-to-1 ratio. So if you need 2 stabs, if you're psychotic, like if you want to do something, that would be 2 points. Yeah.
Helicopter.
Yeah. Just think fucking Gung Fu Hustle, man. You know what I mean? Like that asshole.
Yeah.
I love that he has a Kung Fu Hustle poster in Shang-Chi in his bedroom.
Cool. I think that.
I haven't seen that yet.
It's so good.
I think with this,
I plan on it.
D, we have Felrix. He's ready
Nice.
to live.
Felrix, the martial mage.
Yep.
I like the idea. I'm definitely going to be doing a lot of cinematic stuff with him. He's got. Made sure he had melee master level 1, so he'll be able to do multiple attacks with these things. And I'm planning, if I can do things right, to do 1 attack with 1 weapon and switch it and do another attack with a different weapon. Because one thing my character will have found is that no one else can do this, and that gives him a slight advantage for anyone who hasn't fought him before. Because
So can you, like in Thor Ragnarok, can you be like Thor's sister and just like start pulling swords out and tossing them?
If I had enough magic power, I guess so. Yeah.
Yeah, if he had like a really large rate of use and a really deep mana pool, yeah.
Cool.
For now, I can only do 4 per round.
I
So.
just
That's
love
all right.
the idea of you being like sword down and then spear out, right? To like just the combo moves. You're gonna definitely want to be in the thick of it.
Yeah, another thing that you mentioned I was thinking about is that I could block with a quarterstaff, turn it into nunchuck, and just wrap it, and then as
the
I
hook
pull down, I
sword,
can hook it out. Yeah, I could use it in all kinds of ways that will really trick people up.
Right.
That's cool, man.
What I was wondering
Congratulations.
if you were going to have something always existing or not, if its resting state would be like a bracelet or
so my thought was
necklace
that,
or
so in my mind, and I'm always open to thoughts here, but in my mind it's always a magical mist that's kind of orbiting him.
Oh,
and then
right, you were talking about that you can coalesce.
It coalesces, yeah. And so if someone had magical sight, they would, and I was walking down the street, they'd basically see this, in my mind, a blue mist hovering or orbiting him, and the second it coalesced, it would turn around.
Magic.
You know what I almost see? Those old the meditation balls where people would just rotate them in their hands back and forth.
Yeah.
I see him just permanently walking with those.
Balls?
With he's got the mist going on, and all of a sudden there's a sword or there's a gun.
That'd be a good way for him to hide his magic, to turn it into something mundane that he could just hold on to.
And people are just it's like this guy's got a rosary, and he's just he fiddles with it.
Some rings attached.
The force is with me.
I see this as a guy that's because of his high training. The high training, you're constantly in motion.
Yeah, his high training has given him some really bad habits. He's a bully now. He's a megalomaniac. He thinks he's the hot shit. He is a berserker and has bloodlust. So if someone gets cut randomly,
it's gonna be that Kill Bill.
But think about it though. You've been trained as a killer your whole life, and you've been taught all this magical badassery. Of course, you're gonna think you're the shit. Yeah, no, exactly. You taught yourself that. Now you're even more of an arrogant prick.
Yeah, it's gonna be interesting to play it. Dee will have to make sure and help me, like keep in line because I'm just by my nature is a lot more placating and stuff. So I'm gonna have to work. That's gonna be real role play, and that's why I'm glad that it's gonna be via text because I'll be able to type out some mean things that I wouldn't be able to say. Like
Just start throwing out some of those memes of yours. You'll be all right.
Dude,
Well,
that'd be great if you had a character who was mute and he only had a screen and he only could talk in memes. Like,
It's something that can kind of happen.
Read Saga?
Huh?
Did we talk about? Have you read Saga?
No.
The comic Saga?
No.
There's a royal family, the robot family. They have monitors for their heads, and so so he's like saying like, "Oh, that's really exciting," but his head his like face monitor is showing like his real emotion, and it's like sad anger face, or like, "No, I'm not doing anything," and it like shows like nuclear bombs. Like, it's really he's got a display for a head.
That's crazy.
Prince Robot.
Well, gentlemen, I'm gonna head out. I'm starting to fade, and I gotta get up tomorrow and grade essays. So.
Well, thanks for your input, nonetheless.
Yeah, it was
You're
really
welcome.
helpful.
It was a pleasure. Thank you, guys. You guys have a good weekend. Bye.
All right. Well,
I think we did it.
We got maybe this week, I think, and then we're actually diving back into the game next week, if I'm not mistaken. As long as Drew's good to go, although he seems to be pretty easy to like in and out because of the way Ivar is so sporadic. I think he's cosmically foobarred, so I can always explain why he is or is not there.
Yeah, he could be sucked into the void at any moment.
Yeah, and it seems to be happening more and more often, which I have story stuff building up to the why, because it's sort of like he keeps disappearing, and everybody's like, well, it's just Ivar, and they keep accepting that. It's like, yeah, but it's a little fucking weird whenever somebody's just disappearing, even if it's Ivar.
Yeah.
It's a little fucking weird.
One of my favorite, like, real play podcasts, they had a character who... They had a player who had issues like that, and the character was actually part of a essentially interdimensional, whatever the D&D version of interdimensional gambling ring.
Mm-hmm.
And so at any time he could be challenged, and he would have to go and play, whatever, space poker. And so they would be like, okay, a fight's about to start, and they had been like just kind of role-playing the character along in the background because the player wasn't there, but it was time for combat, and they're like, how come he's not part of combat? It was like, and Ket disappears because he was being summoned to go, gamble with the gods or whatever.
Yeah.
And then he would come back and be like, wow, so everything okay, guys? And they're like all wrecked and everything, but that was the way that they made it work with that character.
Yeah. Well, that's cool shit. I love being able to see that kind of stuff expand. It's gonna be interesting to run this via text. It's gonna read more like a book, and then so what's funny about text gaming is that it makes the characters more rich for some reason. I don't know why that is. And then when you play them verbally, it's kind of like a little bit of that kind of drops off, but you still get it just as engaged. Like it's weird, but there's something of a higher establishment. Like there's a foundation that's really solid. At least that's what I've seen in my own experience, anyway.
For me, with text, just being able to really think about what I want to say before I say it is good. I may not have the witty, quip real time, but like I played a bard character for a long time that I had like a whole notebook of, you're going to inspire people. Here's the section of inspirational phrases. Here's the section of insults and whatever. And I would think of them every once in a while. Something would come to me and I'd be like, oh, open up my phone and like type it in. So I just had that reference. So then my character would have this like really rich, or I would like write poetry or songs or whatever. But like, I would never do that like live in person. I would be like too embarrassed to do that. But I can type that out.
Oh yeah, yep. It kind of gives you a little bit of access to do that. It sort of gives the suspension of disbelief even more room.
And I can type in bold and all caps.
Yeah.
I'm much more comfortable doing that as opposed to being loud on camera.
Yeah.
Because again, my son's bed is 15 feet directly above me.
Yeah, it does create those good moments because I actually had a like a text-based game that I had with a friend of mine, and probably the part that made me laugh the hardest is using that exact thing because I had to use bold and italics to illustrate this. Normal dude was dropped into this weird ass island, jungle zone, something, whatever. Had no idea what was going on. Somebody shows up behind him like some maniac who looks like he's been there for 2 weeks, and he's got this big old machete, and he starts just like coming after him. My guy's just like, he's just like, what are you doing? He's like, I'm fucking running. I'm a normal dude. This guy looks like a psycho. So I'm just going like that, and then of course he says that some other guy is just standing in my way, and I couldn't scream it, but I would have loved to have done that. I wish I would have seen this in a movie. But I'm just running along. I see the guy just kind of going like, "What the hell's going on?" And while I'm running at him, I just go like, "Run, dipshit, machete!" Like that, just like fucking pass him by.
I like it.
Yeah. Of course he gets wasted, so. Oh shit. All right. Well, I think then if we're gonna hopefully cross some fingers that we'll be able to do some gaming next week like normal. And
Sounds good.
yeah, I'm still planning on doing more stuff throughout the week. It's just been a pain in the ass to try and get that going, but we shall do it. It shall commence.
Ken, what is your impression? Does the character creation work? Right? Because we did this in an hour and a half. We created a character.
Yeah.
It helped that I had a concept to begin with. Though.
Step one, right? Have a solid concept.
Yeah.
And then it informs the rest of it. But I think the CRB's good navigating that process through.
Yep.
We'll probably have to switch it up a little bit because I had to jump around a little bit.
Yeah.
It's still good stuff.
You're gonna have to jump around no matter what, but we can tighten it.
Yeah. Yeah, that's what I meant. Cool.
I like it. All right.
Well, that
See
was
you all later.
Good game. Talk to you guys later. See you
Yep.
online.
See you online. See you guys later next week. Yeah.